Hi, and welcome to Random Fandom Chats. I'm Tandra.
I'm Dee Dee.
And this is Annabeth. And here we talk about pretty much anything and everything fandom related. It could be books, movies, comics,
TV shows,
video games,
pretty much anything. Now today we're talking about the movie Frozen, which is a little bit different than what we usually talk about because it's Disney, but it's still, an interesting topic to talk about, especially
it's fandom related, and Disney is a fandom in of itself.
Yeah.
And so we do like a lot of Disney things, so there you go.
Now, what were your personal thoughts on the movie? I honestly don't know how much you remember about the movie.
Oh,
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I remember it really well. As you know, I'm not as fond of animated films as I am regular movies, but there are some out there that I truly, truly really like kind of One Dalmatians and a few others out there. There are some animated films I'm really enthralled with. This one I thought was fairly well done. I know people got really, really, really tired of the music.
The Let It Go song.
But actually, the other song in the movie I think is a better song.
There's a couple of other songs like Love is an Open Door. I
actually
really like
Love
that
is an Open Door.
That's
it's a beautiful song.
Even though it's one of the people singing it's a traitor.
Right, but it is a beautiful song. And that is something Disney is exceptionally good at, is their music in their movies. That is something they can really pull off. And I thought it was a well-done story. I also find it fascinating that they were able to play on that in Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, I honestly was not expecting that. I was really expecting Once Upon a Time to really only focus on the more traditional fairy tales, but they brought in Frozen.
And they did a really good job.
Yeah, they actually did it pretty well, I thought.
And so, and Frozen was so out there, everybody had heard it, everybody had seen everything, because it was one of those big phenomenons that just happened to hit that all the little kids loved it and they were singing it and going crazy about it. And
I actually kind of have an unpopular opinion a little bit, so yeah, flame us if you want in the comments. I don't care. I mean, a lot of people really thought that this movie was, revolutionary for a Disney movie because it really more focused on, family stuff and aspects, and rather than romance. And it had a romance, but it was a very minor subplot. And I agree with that to an extent, but I really feel like the way that people really overplayed it, in my opinion, downplays other movies that have taken, more of the family route with it, like Lilo and Stitch. I think that might be a Disney Pixar movie. I'm not sure if that's just a Disney thing.
I don't remember.
I've only ever seen the first one. But that didn't even have any kind of, romantic subplot. It only focused on really the family stuff. And there's other Disney movies that have focused on that more. And I kind of just feel like, for some reason, people just seem to forget about those movies. And
I think what hits usually is the princess thing. Every time they have, Cinderella, Snow White,
that it was a princess Disney
every time they have princess, I think that tends to bring out everybody goes nuts. And they did really go nuts over the movie. I do think it was well done.
It's definitely not my favorite Disney movie.
It is not my favorite Disney movie. Like I said, I like some of the music in it.
I liked the characters. I liked the overall plot and premise.
Yeah, the overall storyline was
a little bit refreshing from the usually pretty overdone.
On the other hand, it was
traditional.
kind of overdone though. It's a typical plot in that, of course, what else are you going to do? But it's a typical plot. You've got, bad guys and people that are, you think are...
you got to set up the conflict, and it's just a basic story. I
do like the way it teaches little kids that differences are okay. And
very true. I do like that aspect.
And that you can work through differences and still be loved and still love yourself and still be able to be productive in society and get out there and you don't have to hide yourself away. And I do.
Yeah. And that you actually
that.
have to face your problems.
Yeah. That's a good lesson in of itself as well.
Especially for teenagers.
Like I said, I do think it kind of got overblown like sometimes movies tend to do.
Which I'm not sure why, certain movies, just people really seem to latch on to them.
Yeah, they hit a chord at some point. E.T. did that when it came out. You just wouldn't believe. It was in theaters for a year, and that was unheard of back when it came out. That didn't happen back then. That
still doesn't happen.
Because movies had in the past maybe done that. Star Wars had done it, but by the time E.T. came out, that was something that it didn't happen all that often. The fact that it was still out there a year later was
Right.
amazing. But people do. They latch on to certain things at certain times, and that's just like the big
Exactly.
whatever. And they did do that with that movie.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I thought it was a great movie. I don't own it currently, but I would like to own a copy of it, and I don't mind rewatching it, but I do think it's a little bit overrated for the hype it got.
Yeah.
In a lot of
I
ways.
think so. I mean, there was a few... I mean, what was the most memorable plot thing that you can think of? You know, the most memorable scene?
Well, the most memorable plot thing that I remember that I actually do really like is that Hans, the guy that you thought was going to be Princess Anna's, love interest or whatnot, turned out to be a big jerk and a traitor. And I think that was very interesting because you've not really had that, especially in Disney movies, especially Disney princess movies. If you do have, like, a traitor or a backstabber, it's usually, like, a male character who's, like, not even remotely a love interest. He's
or
like
Jafar or something like that.
He's like the king's advisor.
Yeah,
or
he's always and you always can
servant.
tell he's evil.
Right, he's got like the evil twirling mustache beard or whatever. But this guy, you believed from the start that he was a cool guy. He really liked Anna. He was a goofball and all
it was
this
kind of
other
surprising.
stuff.
Like, whoa.
And then he like turned and you're like, wait, what? So I really thought that was interesting, and I really want to see how young girls view this and think, oh, so, sometimes, people aren't what they appear. Sometimes they really are, you can think that they're this way, but they're really not.
Well, and oftentimes the love interest for the princesses or whatever, they're very wooden. The males seem to be very wooden.
They don't really
characters.
have much personality.
They don't have much personality. They're kind of just...
I will defeat a dragon, save you, princess, and that's pretty much it. Half of them don't even have names. Like,
I know, right?
Like Snow White, he doesn't have a name, right? Or was it Philip? It's the Cinderella.
Prince Charming.
Prince Charming. That's like...
Which really isn't a name. I mean, honestly.
Like, he's... are you literally saying his name is Charming?
I mean, they made that his name in
They made that his nickname.
Yeah, that's
Snow
true.
White.
That's true. They did. But yeah, they tend to be very wooden characters. They don't have a lot of depth to them. They're
all pretty much the same.
And they're all, go out, slay whatever, get my princess, and we go off and
they're the hero of the day, and they're the nice.
So the fact that he wasn't was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, I thought it was really cute that they had Kristoff, kind of the more bumbling type guy, still smart, but a little bit of an oddball and whatnot. And he actually turned out to be the love interest, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of the trend nowadays, where geeks are okay.
Yeah.
I think that's
a little bit more of a quirky guy.
We're heading more that way where
he doesn't need to be roguishly handsome and dashing.
No, he can be a little bit more bumbling, more the smart guy, more the tech guy, whatever. He can be more that way, and people will see him as
still a potential love interest.
Right. Which, that seems to be a little bit more modern theme.
Yeah, which I like.
A bit more of what, people are a little bit more used to nowadays.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the whole little bit of love interest thing, that was the thing that really kind of stuck with me, is I really want to see how young girls react to that growing up with a movie that tackles something like that.
Well, and I do think that movies and other things can help influence our thoughts and attitudes as we grow.
Mm-hmm.
If you grow up seeing, the father knows best type mother who's always around taking care of the family and the kids, you grow up thinking that's what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But if you grow up seeing, the women, being in charge and being partners with,
not being, subservient or whatnot.
Right. Then you grow up thinking that that's normal and that's what you should do. So, movies that are playing that direction, I think, are good.
Mm-hmm. That tackle is still in a kiddish way, but a little bit more adult things like betrayal and things like that. Specifically, someone who's supposed to love you, even though, I'm sorry, instant love does not exist. You do not fall in love with somebody after a day.
Well, you can definitely fall into attraction with them after a day, but...
That's attraction. That's different.
Yeah, but people consider that love. But that love has to turn into something...
Two separate things.
That has to turn into something totally different, which these movies never address. But that's okay.
It's like no, you're not gonna fall in love with somebody.
But that's what you're saying. Is it pretty much addressed it in this movie because they were supposedly in love. And they were going through, but then as things progressed,
turned out that you're kind of a homicidal maniac.
Yeah, you're not the good guy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're right. That might be something that subconsciously some of these girls might down the road think, oh well, wait, maybe I need to be a little careful.
Yeah, maybe this guy isn't who he appears to be. Which, like I said, I think
it's great, and also to look that there might be somebody out there who is a really good guy, because they do exist. And that they really are out there, and so you can have your, happily ever after, but it may not be with your
who
first
you think
choice.
it might be.
Right. So that's pretty good.
So I definitely think that Frozen is and can be an influential Disney movie in the future. Like I said, I still think it's a little bit overblown, especially because we also have the movie Brave, which I really love that movie.
It's really good, yeah.
And that too focused not only on I don't need, a love interest or whatever. It specifically dealt with a princess trying to prove that she doesn't need a man and,
And so once again, that makes me wonder what made Frozen get so blown up
so much
like this.
attention,
and
but Brave didn't.
And Brave got out and people saw it and they liked it and all, but it didn't have the same.
It didn't have nearly the same amount of hype about it.
Yeah, so I wonder what the difference is in people's consciousness.
Because it's still focused on a family aspect because of the daughter with her mother. And Frozen deals with the family aspect just with two sisters more than anything. So I don't know. Because they both came out about the same time. I think
real close to each other. Within a year or two of each other.
Yeah, I think. Did Frozen come out first? I think Frozen came out first.
Well, gosh, I don't even really know, but I think so. I'm not sure.
I never see Disney movies in the theaters, so.
Yeah, we're older now. When you were younger, we took you to see a couple, but for the most part, we don't see them unless they're Pixar, like Toy Story or something. Then we go see those in the theaters.
Toy Story.
Okay, well, I think that's probably okay for this topic. And instead of picking out our topic from the box this time, once in a while, every several vlogs or so, we decided it's a good idea to talk about something that's a little bit more current.
A little bit fresher.
That way, because we have a lot of stuff that's clear back from the 60s and 70s and older, so
we want to keep up to date a little
bit once in a while. So, our next topic is going to be on Star Wars rumors.
Now, it's not going to feature anything that's concrete, even though it's now 2017. You think they would start coming out with more concrete things. But it's all just speculation, just two fans chatting about rumors and
what we think of them and all that. So join us next time. If you like us, please give us a thumbs up or subscribe. And bring all your friends.
And feel free to put suggestions in the comments if you'd like.
Thanks.